Bonjour people, welcome back to another review. This time we are looking at Transformers Energon Deluxe Class Hotshot. Here he is in his arguably second iteration. I don't think there was a version of Hotshot that existed before Armada, and he is a yellow sports car like he was in that preceding series. Now, I know the reputation of Energon is not a very good reputation at all, and I think that extends to the toys themselves. They are not looked back on fondly from what I know. However, there is some fun to be had, I think. Now, the main gimmick of Energon was Powerlinxing Transformers together. Autobots could combine, which we will show off a bit of later, and then some, like Optimus, had additional components that you could slot onto arms and create super modes for. But Hotshot here, he is a representation of the former concept. In terms of his car mode, I mean, let's start off, he rolls iffy. It's not entirely flat. I think his bonnet here and bumper end up touching the ground, which kind of hampers him a little bit. As I said earlier, he's a yellow sports car, not of any actual real life make, just a futuristic sports car. Nice yellow all over. You've got some clear plastic headlights. You've got some black for the front grille and for the tyres. The hubcaps, they're like a really dull grey. So, yeah. You've got open windows there, which you can kind of make a open door gimmick with the car if you so desire. And that's quite nice. I like a good car vehicle mode that has opening doors. You could, in theory, make him a convertible if you really want to do that, but of course he's got no interior seating, so that is a completely pointless gimmick. It's not even a real gimmick, it's just something you can do. Some nice groove detailing along the sides here, and along the back you've got a spoiler that you can manoeuvre around as you wish. It's meant to be flat for this mode. You have an Autobot symbol right there. And really that's it for the car mode. I mean, it's a decent looking thing. It's not realistic in the slightest, but it's got a lot of nice detail over it and it's really nicely painted. So that is Hotshot in his vehicle mode. For a very quick size comparison, here is Hotshot next to Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee, so you can see how the two yellow Autobot sports cars look together. And here is Hotshot next to his fellow Energon figure Inferno. We'll look at them both together in robot mode in a bit. To transform Hotshot, what you first want to be doing is taking the front of the car and folding it all the way at the back there. Next, you want to come to the top of the car and fold them down as if you're making him a convertible. Grasp all of this and pull. That extends what will be his legs. You can split them, then flip the spoilers up, take the blue parts, fold them out, and they're his feet. Come to the sides here, fold these bits out about that far, straighten out the arms, which are just tucked in nice and neatly there, and then come all the way to the back, fold down the bonnet. You can see a thing here with an Autobot symbol, which is actually really nice detailing. Rotate that out so you can see his head is attached to that. Close that back up, and then his head is on a ridiculous hinge here, so bring that all the way forward and just try and clip it in to that jigsaw puzzle piece there, which is actually a connection port that we'll get to a bit later. So this is Hotshot in robot mode. Unfortunately, I don't have his accessory, which I believe was an Energon rifle. However, it is actually on the way, so I might film a coda to this. And here we are. This is the gun. It's finally come. Red translucent thing. I think this is actually meant to be for the Powerlinx Hotshot redeco, but the missile is the right one at least. There's a trigger on the top, and it fires like this. That's quite a powerful spring. He's different to his Armada counterpart, and different to his Cybertron counterpart, and his animated counterpart, and his Prime counterpart. He's got a lot of versions Hotshot does. They seem to have in recent years gone with blue as Hotshot's primary aesthetic. I mean, since Transformers Cybertron they've gone blue, and I suppose that's because Bumblebee is the yellow Autobot sports car. Hotshot can't be that now because he's not Bumblebee. But fun fact, back in the day of Armada, they wanted to use Bumblebee, but Hasbro didn't exactly have the license back then, so they actually made Hotshot as a replacement. So in a way, he is Bumblebee. Mind blown. But here he is. What can we say about this figure? He's a block. He's fine. I mean, figures back from these days, they're not amazing, are they? But he's fine. He does his job. He's got okay articulation, all things considered, which is his best-selling feature, and we'll get to it in a bit. So that's his head sculpt, as you can see there, and it's really nicely detailed, actually. You've got painted eyes, you've got a painted red crown on him. Unfortunately, it's connected via this ridiculously long peg thing, and I know it's there to complement the Powerlinx feature, but it means a lot of Energon figures unfortunately have that, and it's ugly, and it compromises head articulation. Like, it's literally plugged in to this. If it weren't, it's on a ball joint, and it could go every way under the sun. But, and actually that will become a feature again later, but as it is plugged in there, you've got nothing. Carrying on down the rest of the figure, you can see it is beautifully detailed. You've got all of this nice sculpt work on the torso. You've got a silver, well, an Autobot symbol in like a silver hole there. That's for an Energon star, which again this figure did not come with, or at least my version didn't. Second hand, what are you going to do? His arms are skinny and freakish, unfortunately, so that's a downer. That's not very good. You've got red detailing on the pelvis area there, and then we come down to these chunky, thick, meaty legs, and they look quite nice. But when you compare them to the rest of the figure, he is just oddly proportioned. But he's not the most oddly proportioned thing I've ever seen, so for that reason, he's passable, he's okay. In terms of articulation, as we've already discussed, the head does nothing while you've got plugged in. The arms, they are on ball joints at the shoulders there, so you can push them up that far, and then they only go back that far, obviously, because of all of this. He's got double jointed elbows, so he can do an over 90-degree bend. He can swivel back at that shoulder. So in terms of arm articulation, he's actually surprisingly really good. He's just really skinny. He can do a majestic spread. That's not how the spread is meant to be. Let's try and push that back in. That's the biggest spread I've ever seen on a Transformer, and that's beautiful. Come back round, he can swivel all the way around at the knees. He's got, well, what amounts to be the knees. They're not really the knees, are they? They're the upper leg. He can bend that far. He can bend that far forward, so we can do a kick, in a sense. And then that's kind of it. He's got a bit of toe up and down, or at the foot rather, but that's it. Really. So he's a bit surprising, actually, in terms of articulation. It's not bad. It's not great, though. Here is Hotshot and here is Inferno next to each other. You might see this segment in both videos. Basically, these two have a shared feature they can combine, as I've been spouting about throughout the entire video, and it's called Powerlinxing. The way it works is that one of them becomes, in quotes, a shirt, and one of them, in quotes, pants. You basically just stick them on top of each other, a bit like Armada, Optimus and Jetfire. So we're going to turn Hotshot into a shirt mode. So what we want to be doing is folding his arms up as if we are putting him back in car mode. Closing the doors like that, but then disconnect them at the shoulders and just push them all the way back against the front of the car that's on his back. Then decapitate him, and we're going to be folding his head up, open the front of the car, and just fold all that in and closing it. Then we're going to zoom out, and we're going to take his legs and we're going to split them at the pelvis area all the way around. We're going to flip him over like that. We're going to fold in the feet, and we're just going to rotate them like that. Then we're going to come back to the car front here, open it up slightly, then reach in, pull his head through It's on that spinal cord thing. Fold it up. Rotate his head around. And then clip the base of the cord into between these two blue tabs right there. Should just snap into place. And that's Hotshot in shirt mode. To connect the figures, what we want to be doing is taking the jigsaw piece and just slotting them like that. So this is Powerlinx Hotshot. Yeah, it's weird. I think it's the weakest of the two iterations that you can do with these two combined. I don't know what to make of it. Like, he's got these massive boxing gloves. Where is robot hands? It's these. These crappily painted bits here are meant to be hands. He doesn't come with attachable fists like he's a G1 figure. That would have been better. No, it's these. It looked better in the cartoon. Let's put it like that. It's weird. It's so weird in terms of articulation. I mean, he's actually got more head articulation in this mode than he does in his actual robot mode. He can bend at the new arms a good 90 degrees, surprisingly, and he can rotate them like that before everything gets in the way. Unfortunately, the Inferno legs have no articulation whatsoever, and that's just because of the way that they plug in. Just like that. It gives him no knee articulation whatsoever, unless you disconnect that and actually just break it and make him become a four-legged creature, which actually would probably be better off for him, to be honest. I don't know what else to say about this thing. It's a weird Goliath statue thing. I mean, proportionally it's okay, but these big boxing glove things are just ridiculous. To transform Hotshot into his pants mode, what you want to be doing, fold up his arms, fold the doors, detach up the shoulders, take his head, fold it up, open the back, pop his head in, and he's done. So there we are then, that is Energon Hotshot. He's alright. He's not amazing, but he's fine, he's passable. His arms are weird, his legs are big and bulky, his shirt mode is a bit ridiculous, his pants mode is just him half transformed. His head articulation leaves a lot to be desired, but he makes up for that in detail and like accessory stuff, I suppose, if I actually had that. He's nice to look at on the shelf at least, especially in car mode, I think. That's probably his best looking mode. But yeah, he's fine. Like, if you're going to go out your way to get Energon figures, Hotshot's probably one of the better ones, to be honest. Yeah, I'd give him a thumbs up, I suppose. He's not awful. So there we are, Hotshot. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this review. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see y'all later.